You've probably heard advice like follow your passion and you'll never work a day in your life. But is that actually the best approach? Could a more skills-based career path actually give you more fulfillment? There are so many things to think about when choosing which path to take. Can you actually make a living with your passion? What if you turn it into a job and you come to hate it? Can you find fulfillment in a skills-based career? I've done both. I followed my skills for my corporate career and when founding my first business, and I followed my passion when founding my second business. But when I sold that business last year, I was left with this question again. Do I follow my skills or do I follow my passion? What followed was countless hours reading and researching the answer to this question. I'm going to share with you some amazing insights from psychology and career experts on what actually brings fulfillment at work, along with an activity I designed to explore different job roles so that you can move forward with clarity. It's easy to feel inspired when you see someone following their passion. When someone quits their job to become an artist or a musician, it embodies this feeling of freedom. And it's inspiring to see someone who knows with absolute conviction what it is they're meant to do, because most of us don't know. And yet studies show that following your passion may not be as glamorous as it first seems. Many people have passions in areas that are really competitive, or don't have a clear path to a stable income. For example, professional sports, or a niche hobby like wargaming. If your passion doesn't align with market demand, it can be hard to find a job or make enough money to make ends meet. For example, someone who wants to make a career out of music may struggle to make a living doing it because there's a lot of people who want to do that, but there's very few high-paying opportunities there. Another thing to think about when turning a passion into a career is how it might change the nature of the job itself. For example, if you love photography for its creativity, you might feel differently if you turn that into a job and have to work with clients that you don't like or shoot subjects that you're not interested in. Not to mention all the other tasks that go along with being an independent photographer. As well as changing the nature of your passion, it adds additional pressure when you turn it into something that you need to rely on financially. Robert Vallerand's research distinguishes between harmonious passion and obsessive passion. Harmonious passion integrates smoothly into everyday life, whereas obsessive passion can lead to burnout as people feel like they need to pursue it at all costs. Turning a passion into a career can tip it from harmonious to obsessive, especially when the pressure of making a living is involved. But of course you can pursue a passion in a corporate job too. This can come with the potential for opportunity cost if you're so focused on only doing things related to your passion that you ignore developing skills in complementary areas. For example, somebody really passionate about writing may pass up opportunities to work in marketing or project management, which could help them explore strengths in other areas as well as broaden their skill set for the wider job market. The other thing to watch out for is whether your passions align with your core values. This is what happened with my last business. I was really passionate about tabletop games, so I started a website based on it. At the time, one of my core values was fun, and I loved writing about games. But over time, my values changed and I wanted to focus on having a more positive impact on people's lives. So I stopped finding the business fulfilling and I eventually sold it. So if following your passion is the more difficult and risky option, how can a skills-based job bring fulfillment? Dan Pink explores this exact question in his book Drive. He argues that intrinsic motivation is the key to satisfaction and fulfillment at work. When we're driven by our inner desires to learn, create and improve, external rewards like money and promotions are motivating to make sure that we've got enough money to pay our bills. But loads of studies have shown that beyond a certain point, these external motivators are not enough to keep us feeling fulfilled at work. Instead, to find motivation and fulfillment at work, he argues that a job role needs 3 key ingredients. The first of these is autonomy. You get control over how you do your work. You have the freedom to choose your own tasks, set your own schedules, and approach work independently. For example, Google famously allowed employees 20% of their work time to pursue independent projects. This led to the creation of Gmail and Google News. The second ingredient for fulfillment and motivation at work is mastery. This is the opportunity to develop competence and get better at something that matters. When we take deliberate effort to improve our skills, when we are motivated to persist even when things get tough. For example, musicians, artists and athletes often practice for the joy of improving, independent of external rewards. This intrinsic drive for mastery is essential for growth and satisfaction. The third ingredient is purpose. Purpose is the desire to be part of something larger than yourself. When you believe that your work serves a meaningful purpose, you're more engaged and committed. Non-profit organisations often attract highly motivated people who aren't driven by financial rewards, but instead are motivated by the mission and the impact on society that the organisation has. So if you find a role that gives you autonomy, mastery and purpose, you may find great fulfilment in that job, even if it's not associated with one of your passions. So does that mean that passion isn't important in career choice at all? And if you choose a career based on skills, that you'll lose passion in your work forever? Psychologist Angela Duckworth's research shows that passion doesn't always start fully formed. Instead, dedicating yourself to a chosen field, even if you're not particularly passionate about it at the start, can be deeply satisfying as you see your talents and your income grow. The key thing with this is to use your grit to actually stick with this choice when it gets hard, and give yourself a chance to get better at the role and develop your skills. In So Good They Can't Ignore You, Cal Newport argues that passion can be the result of mastery rather than the cause of it. He explains how building rare and valuable skills can lead to career capital in your chosen field, which leads to more fulfilling work. Because as you develop more skills, you're more valuable and trusted, so you're given more autonomy in your role. Plus, if you spend years becoming a specialist in your field, you'll be very well compensated for that. So you'll have the money to indulge in your passions outside of work. You could even become a contractor and work part-time, leaving you the rest of the time to do whatever you want. So now that we know that passion isn't predetermined and fixed, and you can uncover new passions from your work, it provides a lot more options to explore. Every time that I've been looking for a new direction in my career or business, there's an activity that I do that helps me explore different options. Do a job search and look for some realistic roles that you could do based on your skills and your interests right now. This is a good way of showing you that there's market demand for these roles. Then take a look at the expected salary, salary growth and career progression in this role. Where will it take you in the next 5 or 10 years? And do you need to do any qualifications to get there? Then think about the type of companies that have these roles. Are they large corporations or small startups? Or are they government organisations? These all offer very different working environments, but also the core purpose of the organisations are very different too. Most job specs will give you a task list, but really think about what that would mean on a day-to-day basis. Try to picture that in as much detail as you can. What would a day look like from the moment you started work to the moment you left? Who would you interact with? What does that environment look like? What are your working patterns like? What kind of systems or equipment are you engaging with? Do you think that one of those tasks would take up the majority of the time? The next thing to do is match it against the autonomy, mastery and purpose elements that Dan Pink mentions. And as a final bonus, perhaps you'd be building career capital in a rare and valuable skill like Cal Newport advises. But before you spend hours applying for a role, you need to check that it aligns with your values. Because otherwise, even if you get the role, you may find it unfulfilling over time. To discover your values, do the activities I outline in this video here. And if you're ready to explore more ideas on designing a life and career that you love, hit that subscribe button. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you for watching.